All right, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Tacos en Europa. I am Jorge.
My name is Edgar.
And you guys already know, but I'll tell you guys once again that this is the only podcast that gives you all information about Mexican footballers in Europe in two languages, in English and in Spanish. We talk about every single player, even the ones in Russia, even the ones in second division. Everybody, you get all the scoop and all the info here from Tacos en Europa in both languages. Be sure to follow us on all social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, wherever your favorite one is. Just go ahead and look up Tacos en Europa all together and you will be able to find us. Listen to us on YouTube or any one of your favorite podcast platforms. But all right, now that we got that out of the way, ENG, how do you feel about this week, man? Do you feel excited to start the episode, or you're a little, how you feel?
I was happier earlier in the week. It felt like we were going through good stuff, then a little bit of losses. Some players didn't play as well. It went a little bit down.
And to be fair, there was a lot of bangers today. You had some Real Madrid in here, you had some Inter, you have a lot of very big rivals. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about all those. But let's start with Fulham in the Premier League with Raúl Jiménez first versus Norwich in the Carabao Cup. They actually rest Raúl Jiménez on this one, but his striker replacement does score a goal in this one against Norwich, but he does score.
Norwich, the score.
But scored. And then the next game is going to be against Chelsea on Monday. So tomorrow, when you listen to this podcast on Monday, they will be playing against Chelsea. So we'll talk about that on the next episode. West Ham has a Carabao Cup game as well against Lincoln. And we do see 30 minutes from Edson Alvarez in this one. Well, there's really nothing to talk about here. They get the win. The next game is going to be against Sheffield United, a 3-1 victory for Edson Alvarez and the Hammers. Inge, how were those 70 minutes from Edson? How did you see him?
Oh, he was great. He was really, really good. He was, defending the same as always, but he also was part of the effort to go forward. He was part of the first goal. He was really good part of the first goal. He was. You could even say he was the beginning of the play.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first long pass that started the screening.
It was the ignition.
It was really good, and he got a yellow card. He gets those really easy.
Yeah.
But how he is with the yellow cards. It's sad that he's getting close to losing a game. Hopefully, it will not be an important game, but it will happen eventually because he gets a lot of yellow cards.
It's gonna happen. Hopefully, it's not in the next match, so he doesn't do them all consecutively. I gotta see who their next opponents are just to be sure, but we'll see which one's better. He does have 4 out of 5 long balls, man, and 1 out of 1 dribbles. So that tells what you were saying. You were saying he's moving up a little further. So I'll take it, man. In the Premier League,
yeah,
sure, why not?
And that's the thing. It's because of that extra year he stayed in Ajax.
Yeah, that's when he started developing the forward game a little bit. He would have been
because there was no one else to do it, so he had to. Yeah, that's.
There's still no one to do it in Ajax, man. By the way. So going to Spain, Andrés Guardado versus Granada. This is a 1-1 tie where he unexpectedly starts and plays 70 minutes, man.
I get that he starts because they're gonna play
Europe
this weekend, and then they're gonna play Europa.
It's Europa, right?
So
Europa,
it's Europa. No, they need to rest the midfielders. They need to. Marc Roca and Guido Rodriguez are gonna get killed if they don't. And Guardado was actually one of the better replacements because they play a lot of substitutions. And Guardado was one of the best of those. He was playing long balls like a quarterback. He was getting 8 out of 10 passes. He did great.
The Guardado special, man. Every time. And
the launcher.
He had a pretty decent game here, and they are playing against Valencia today as well. Probably not gonna see him. Probably gonna be
he's gonna close
5 minutes closing game. So that's why we're recording.
If he plays, he's gonna close.
That's why we're recording pretty early right now. We usually record at 9, but we decided to bring it out a little early in the day.
That's why we're drinking coffee.
Yeah, we're drinking some coffee in here. And see it. Here we go. But yeah, other than that, pretty good for what. And like we said it at the beginning of the season. He's gonna be one of those people that's gonna close out games or give some rest to the other midfielders. That's what he's there for, and to be locker room presence. So great performance from him on and off the field. Las Palmas. I think this is what everyone's here to see or hear about. Las Palmas versus Real Madrid. Julian Araujo versus debatably the best team in the world. 90 minutes, man.
Very debatably.
What'd you say?
Very debatably.
Oh, well, you got Man City and stuff. Yeah, debatably, the best team in the world. 90 minutes, and this dude, like, I'm not a Julian Araujo hater. I just didn't think he was gonna play as good as he did against Real Madrid.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's diminished Real Madrid. They're not playing wide. They're not playing as wide as they usually do. Mm-hmm. So they're like, he's getting like an easier deal than if he had tried to defend Vinicius Jr. last season. You know, where he was playing injury. The band.
They rested Bellingham too, I think. So
no, he played. It was Bellingham and Vinicius, but they were playing really narrow. So it's different.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it was a really good game. He had 9 defensive actions, 3 key passes too. So he was on both sides of the field, and he never dribbled past. Nobody dribbled past him.
I absolutely agree. He had a great game. The thing is, still, even though he had a great game, it was like not as difficult as it could be in other seasons. So we have to wait and see how he does against Barcelona. Maybe that are playing a little bit wider, but especially because that's actually his team. So
yeah. So we'll see how good he studied them. But yeah, I mean, great game by Julian Araujo, and just like defensively, he was insane, man. He stopped. Yeah. Obviously, Vinicius was injured. He came back in the second half, but he did stop a couple by him. He stopped another close one in the first half before he came in. And again, that pace to come back and help out on the defense just helps Las Palmas. This is the first time Las Palmas receives 2 goals in 8 games. And Real Madrid had to come in and score more than 1 goal on them because they were just like lined up just to the teeth, man. It was a great defensive action by them. And I'm excited to keep seeing them, man. They're still tied for the second best defense in La Liga. The
thing is that they by far the worst offense.
Yeah. So you gotta score. They said defense was championships, but you gotta score a couple too. So that's the hardest part there. But I mean, for a newly promoted team, I think that's super impressive, and I think it's great for Julian Araujo to be in that environment. Now Almeria, we have now it gets a little deep here, but we got Sevilla and a 5-1 loss. So Cesar Montes gets 5 dropped on him and the defense. And to be honest with you, we always say, like the other guys, or he couldn't do much. Like, I can't defend him on this one. Like, I have nothing to say.
He had
nothing to say. It was bad. And they do play against Granada as well today as we're recording this in a 3-3 tie. I think he's injured, or there was some type of injury concern where he wasn't even on the bench for this one.
I maybe even thinking like maybe because he was substituted in the first game against Sevilla. Yeah. Maybe he was knocked and they didn't report it because he was sub like in the 60th minute. So maybe because they haven't said anything official, but it seems to be like he has a knock at least. Yeah.
He's trying to save face. Like, they scored 5 on me, but I was injured.
Maybe.
But yeah, this team just can't get enough, man, because they were winning 3-0 against Granada, and then I don't know where in the second half they just let 3 of them go, and they tie the game 3-3.
And it was a hat trick from Luis Suarez.
So
he was a hat trick, and then he got injured.
So you can't say taking out Montes is gonna help you now. So at least that's good for him that they still need him. Gonna go over to Genoa in Serie A in Italy. Johan Vasquez, man, like what a week for this man. First, they go against Jose Mourinho's Roma in a 4-1 victory. Let's talk about that first, man. 90 minutes. How did you see him? Like, truthfully.
I like what I saw because even though you can see his like underlying numbers and they aren't great, if you were watching the game, he was actually doing something very specific. They were playing a back 3, but he was playing either wide or very close to Dybala. Mm-hmm. He was just covering the passing lanes to Dybala and not leaving him space to create anything for Lukaku. And Lukaku was being double marked by the other 2 center backs. Yeah. So it was it was a really smart way to like get out get out of the zone that the attacking players from Roma can get like really dangerous. So it was really interesting the way they did it, and I think he did really, really well. Yeah, even though he did make a mistake on the first goal.
He did make a mistake on the first goal, and he did have a couple little errors there. I think, like, if this was like a loss or a tie or something, I think we will be able to say that it was an okay game for him. But I think the win and the massive win kind of overshadows some of those mistakes. Overall, he did great. And yeah, like you said, the most interesting thing was seeing how he was with Dybala. Like, he was just staying with him. He was like, okay, he's coming up. He's pressuring in. Let me go back. He has the ball now. Let me go up to him. Like, it was just like a very interesting thing to see that he was like instructed to literally just try to stop this man. And
it's very interesting because it's kind of those like shadow performances, you know, like you don't have numbers to show how well you did. It's the thing that Edson sometimes has, you know, like always he plays a great game but there's no numbers to show that he did. You need to watch it and actually pay attention. And nobody wants that.
You want the goals, man. You want the goals and the tackles. And then they also play against Udinese and the mighty Florian Thauvin in a 2-2 tie, where it was so close to getting the victory. They would have been in 9th place right now had they won it, but they do get an equalized at the end of the game. But man, this guy ends up with a way better game than Roma, obviously, because it is a lower tier. But you have 7 defensive actions, 9 out of 15 duels, and he does pretty much literally builds up a whole play that ends up in a goal. But then it's called offsides. But literally from the back, he brings up the ball, he sends a long pass, runs up, he's in the box, you know, disturbing the other players, and then they score a goal, and then it's offsides. But man, like if that had counted, that would have been just so good to be able to add to his resume, because it was a great play.
He's becoming really, really comfortable on the ball. That's really good to hear. You know, like having a good ball playing center back is something that anyone wants.
It's just been a treat, man, to be able to see him since his first season out of Pumas on Europe to today. It's a completely different person, man. Completely different player.
Yeah, so shout out, especially when he plays wide. You know, like we didn't know he will be that good of a defensive fullback.
Yeah. Now Salernitana, again, another story. We have a 1-0 defeat against Empoli, where Memo does show up a little bit. He ends up stopping 5 shots, so he looks pretty well. But like the goal still, you know, it's one of those things where the defense got you, but you kind of could have stopped it, but not really. So we're not gonna. You stopped 5 at the end of the day, so we'll give it to you. You know what I mean? We'll give you the good
but if that was the only game of the week, we would say, oh, a younger Memo will have got it. You know, like we would say maybe he will have gotten it, but still.
But tell me what happened, man.
They play Inter. They play Inter, and then they get absolutely murdered by Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah, not by Inter, not by Inter, by Lautaro Martinez. Like literally.
Yes, you know, like when he scored that hat trick on Memo like 4 years ago, you know, with Tata Steel. Yeah. That's the feeling, you know, like he alone killed them. And actually that's what happened, you know, like they were like in the minute like 65, 66, 0-0, like Salernitana was having the most dangerous plays, and then all of a sudden Lautaro enters and just like blows out the defense. Like Salernitana didn't know what to do, and they leave Memo to die alone.
Yeah,
and he did make, maybe you could call two of the goals he could have done more, but the defense was leaving him alone.
Yeah, one of them was a penalty too. So yeah. So you know, it's like you can't completely destroy him, but I mean, anytime you get 4 scored on you by the same guy, like we can't defend it too much. But the first game was pretty decent, and then the second one, like I said, something needs to happen with this defensive format, because they were doing pretty okay last season. They weren't this bad last season. They were bad, but they weren't this bad.
At the beginning, they were.
Oh yeah, we didn't really see him before he got there.
When Memo got into the team, they improved a lot.
Yeah. But man, we'll see how it goes for the rest of the season. Right now, they are borderline. Let me double check that. Actually,
I think they're relegation.
They are in relegation. Yeah, they're literally the 18th spot, so they're like that last spot in relegation. So they can get out, but you don't want to be in there, man. You don't want to be there. Yeah. Actually, Genoa could have helped them out if they had won by like 2 or 3. They could have bumped them down, and then they could have saved Salernitana as well.
But we didn't mention it, but they were so close to getting the win, and they got an own goal in the 92. That's.
It was such a great
that stuff.
Genoa offense is just like so underrated, I think, man, in the league. Like that strikers is
like
so
they're
good.
missing like one player,
like
defensive midfielder,
like a little something.
They just put in like Edson Alvarez, and just put in like something that it works. Maybe he's a little green for Serie A. I'd rather have him in PSV.
All right, well, talking about Netherlands, let's start with Feyenoord first, actually, and let's go with Santi Jimenez versus Ajax, man. 2 times. Which is a technicality because the first half happened. The other one, they had to stop it. He made him rage quit. Then he finishes it, and now he scores another goal in the second part of the games, which was like 40 minutes played. And it counts.
Yeah, and that's all they cared for. You know that they were playing to get him the goal, and he got it in like 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden, like, no one wanted to play anymore. Like, we got it.
Yeah, I mean, every time they drag you out there again, like just to play 40 minutes and without no fans, like for no reason, like obviously you don't want to be there anymore, man. Like
you don't want to like get injured or get like
you got these European games coming up, so like man, I completely understand that.
Very tough European games. They're playing Atletico next week.
Yeah, so it's really kind of like a half game here. Let's go again and talk about the real game, which is go ahead Eagles in a 3-1 win. It was close, man. It was very close. He saw his replacement coming out, warming up. He was like, he's gonna take me out. I gotta do something. And he finally scores like right before they're gonna take him out, and he gets another goal. So what is that, like a couple? How many consecutive games scoring?
Yeah, like 5, right? 5 or 6.
6 right now. 6 consecutive games in the league.
Yeah, but the thing is, what's interesting about this is Go Ahead Eagles had a very interesting defense where they just keep the center backs around Santi. You know, they didn't give him any space. Mm-hmm. They were marking him like Genoa was marking Lukaku, and they were doing a pretty okay job. He didn't have any like easy shots, and when he did score in like the 70-ish minute, he actually like he had to create his own chance. You know, a striker's goal. Back to the goal and just turn and just like show it to the angle, you know, like it was nice and really good in his form, but it's very interesting to see. I think it's the first time I have seen Santi getting marked as a dangerous striker, you know, okay, I design my defense plan around their goal, their goal scorer, you know, like against this guy. This is the dangerous part.
Like we need to make sure we shut this guy down.
Yeah, and they did. And for the most part, that's why the goals came from these rebounds from the wingers.
I feel like it was also like a very like a frustration goal too. Because he's just kind of like, dude, like I guess can't be possible. Like this can't be possible. And then he just kind of remembered,
especially like, against the Eagles.
Yeah, like he remembered I'm a strong ass motherfucker, and then he like just put against both of them, was able to like turn his back and score that goal. So it was a great striker goal, and he does accumulate 10 goals, making him the goal scorer of the league. And he's also
he was last week, but we said he wasn't because the 2 goals from Ajax at that time weren't in the tally yet.
Yeah. But he was last week, and he remains the goal scorer now with 10 goals. And he's also the second player this season in the top 15 leagues to score 10 goals. So that's kind of cool. The other guy is some guy from the to reach 10 goals. The other guy is some guy from the Bundesliga who has 10 as well. So now they're both tied. But he beat Haaland. He beat a lot of the Premier League guys, which obviously it's a different competition, but it's still a cool little stat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm just checking. Pavlidis, the guy from AC Alkmaar, is in 9 goals.
Yeah, he's right behind him.
I just saw it. Like he should have scored like twice this week. You know.
And you saw how low the third place is.
6, but it's Luke de Jong. But Luke de Jong is playing something else completely. He has like 5 assists. He's doing something else. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He has like 10 goals and assists. Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah,
he's tied for second. He's tied for second. Yeah, he's going crazy. All right, going over to PSV now since we had that segue in. Go ahead Eagles first, 3-0 win. Chucky Lozano I think he has a pretty creative game. I think it's a matter more of like my teammates failed me than me failed my teammates, you know?
Yes. And then again, they were playing against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Which they are playing fine. You know, like they're not like Almer City last week that was just like an open gate. No, they're playing decently.
It's not the bottom of the barrel. Like they're in 8th place, bro. Like they're doing pretty well.
They're middle of the pack. Middle of the pack.
So it was a pretty good game by Chucky Lozano. He had 3 key passes, and 2 of them were literally just like balls on a platter, like just kick it and score it. And then they weren't able to do it. One of them was steal, the other one was to the Young, I believe. And man, like other than that though, like he was just doing his thing. He creates the cross for the first goal as well, if I'm not mistaken. That this is
the one that goes. It creates the play and then just like finishes by
dribbles the ball up against like all the players, gets to the corner, passes it back to Tese, and he just crosses it over to the Young. So he literally did all the work. It was crazy.
Well, to create the space, you know, like the cross is great, and Tese scores the same assist twice for the Young, you know. It was really good.
And I mean, if you want to talk a little shit, Tese is doing pretty good, bro. So I don't know how many minutes Dest is gonna get in this team as a right back. Because Tese since he's been playing.
Talking about shit, he is playing pretty bad, you know.
Yeah,
Dest hasn't done well.
But talking about the next game,
but then we're throwing shit, but then they play Volendam, and Chucky wasn't anywhere to be seen.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's rest for the Champions League, but they also have a USMNT guy. This what's his name? Tillman, yeah, the midfielder.
He did pretty well.
He did well. Goal and assist.
The thing is, goal and assist. And the thing is, it's the same problem they were having last season. Mm-hmm. Tillman is a midfielder who is an attack-minded midfielder, and they have Bierman, which is Tillman and Bierman, and both are attacking-minded midfielders. Till used to be a striker, now he is an attacking midfielder. So who the hell is defending or controlling the ball in the midfield?
Yeah, who's helping out Romalgo, man? Like Romalgo, like we need to give him some good numbers.
This is the center back dying out back there. You know, like wherever they play a strong opposition, PSV can hold on to the ball.
Yeah,
that's what will happen when they face Feyenoord. I don't think Ajax is gonna be a problem this season, but Feyenoord and maybe like Alkmaar could be like real problems, and they're gonna get killed on the Champions League.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the same problem we were talking about with Guti last season, huh?
Like they already did get killed by
like it showed the same exact problem you're talking about in the Arsenal game. Like it was the same exact thing, just like nothing in the middle, and just like let them get to the final third.
Yeah, that's the problem with PSV.
Okay, Gerardo Ortega in Querrás Gang versus KVC Westerlo. They tie 3-3. He comes in the game in the 90th minute, nothing really to do, but his replacement does score a goal. So I don't know. It's looking more and more like Gerardo's losing his starting spot to me. I don't know, man.
And I mean, I get it. I guess that he will probably be the bench for Angulo on Tigres next season. That's his like arch.
Or Monterrey. Like. Oh no, they still Gallardo. Actually,
Gallardo.
He's not sitting him in the national teams. He's not going to sit him in Monterrey.
Exactly.
Still in Belgium, we have Jorge Rubalcaba, who plays for the Standard League, the subdivisions of the youth league. And he plays 88 minutes, man. He's pretty good. He got a couple key passes in, and he's playing as a striker, but like winger combination, striker left winger type of deal. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
He's just playing to have like doing physical conditioning, you know, like these 6 months are gonna be just like gym and getting buff.
Halftime they just have him doing push-ups, like while everyone else is trying to figure out a game plan.
Doing push-ups and drinking this big ass milkshake with eggs, you know, like Rocky in the movies.
Porto in Portugal. We have Jorge Sanchez Benfica. Nothing from him. We did say that, or Inke did tell us that he probably was going to be a bench to the right fullback, who's actually one of their better players.
Yeah, and Johan
can't expect him to play every single week.
And no. What's worse is that João Mario was stopped by another guy in one of the games, and I think he did well actually. So I think Sanchez It's going to be bottom of the barrel.
Try that left side, maybe, hopefully. AK Athens, we have Panathinaikos, which is, if you guys remember, it was like the mighty rivals in the last season. And they do had a 2-1 win with minutes from both of our guys, both Orbelin and Rodolfo Pizarro. And the best thing is that Orbelin Pineda helps his team out with a goal to break the tie, 2-1.
Yes. And Pizarro actually also helps in the build-up to that goal. He was fine.
And Pizarro also
but he did. I mean, that's something. Yeah. And then they play Atromitos, which is like the just, well, no, they weren't just ascended, but there's a lower table team, you know? Yeah. And they didn't even bench Pineda. He wasn't nowhere to be seen. I don't know if they were resting him that much, but something happened there. And Pizarro did start and played well as a left winger that cuts its size, sort of like a slow Chucky Lozano, like he did well. He wasn't in the scoreboard, but he did well.
I'm loving Pizarro, man. I think he's doing like a role player's job, and he's doing what he's told. So I think he's doing really, really good.
Still, he is holding on to the ball a little bit too much. The games
same thing as Miami.
Yeah. What we were saying he was doing fine is when he was passing the ball faster. Maybe I hope they work on that.
For our coaching segment, we haven't talked about it in a second, but we have 2 updates from our 2 coaches in Europe right now. We have Vasco Aguirre with Mallorca. He gets 2 ties this week, one against Barcelona and one against Rayo Vallecano. Both of them a 2-2 scoreline. And Rafa Marquez gets a tie as well against Celta Vigo B. It is a 1-1 scoreboard here. So we got a lot of ties for our coaches, man. We need to start getting some wins. We need some people on the national team.
I mean, Mallorca getting a tie against Barcelona is great. The Vallecano one, I think, was
not as good.
Kind of tough. No, but it was like arguable. Like there was a red card. It was something.
And then we have our prizes of the day, man, of the week. So let me know, man, who was your player for you? Who do you think was the player of the week today? You can't say the hat trick for Santi because that was last week.
Yeah, that was technically. That's what I was thinking. Just to say something different, I'm gonna go with Johan. I think Johan did well, even though Santi did score, like twice technically. I think Johan did a really good job in the win against Roma and then again in the other game.
Yeah, I'm tempted because he had 2 really good games, but I'm gonna go ahead and say a different one just to give a little variety. Julian Araujo against Real Madrid. I'm gonna give him my pick of the week.
That's pretty good.
What was your favorite game, man, this week? What did you
Roma Genoa.
Roma Genoa.
Just seeing like the fire in the eyes of Mourinho, that was great. That's why he's going to Sky.
I want to say the Inter one, but it was just so bad. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna go Genoa at Roma too, man. Let's stay on a positive vibe here.
Yeah.
Anything extra before we close out the episode?
Just a little bit, some updates from the Liga MX things. Necaxa is playing kind of well lately. They're playing a lot of youngsters. They looking good. And then Lainez is coming back. He has scored in 2 games in a row. He has been playing better and better. I'm glad for him. He hasn't been playing like this since like the Olympics. And finally, just like a little cheat thing to say, in the MLS, they released the 10 best-selling shirts, and there just was 1 Mexican. Vela.
What? Vela still?
Vela still.
That's great. Damn. All right, well, that's all we have for this week. Be sure to come listen to us again next week on Monday to talk about the next games for the European window. We have a lot of Champions League coming up, a lot of Europa League, a lot of Conference League, so don't miss that one. A lot of good matchups coming up. Like I said, be sure to follow us on all your favorite social medias and listen to us on this podcast, whether it's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Tell your friends about it and let them know, man. You don't have to watch every game. We got your back. You don't want to
remember to watch the midweek segment we're doing now.
Yeah, we're doing Young 11. He's talking about Necaxa right now. Heriberto Jurado, man, he's doing his thing. He got an assist this week as well.
Yeah.
We got one more game to watch today before we wrap it up completely, but it's looking like we got our 11 pretty done for now. But we'll see. Someone might surprise us. She was looking a little down bad. All right, guys, we'll see you guys next week. Be sure to listen to us. We will see you here on Monday. You guys have a great week.